This is a lesson on left-hand finger independence, stretches, and alignment. Now, you can learn from the video for free and just kind of copy what I do, but you can also pick up my technique book. It's 122 pages, has tons of exercises for both hands and video lessons for it, so there's a link for that under the video. Before you attempt these finger independence and stretch exercises, make sure you've gone over the alignment exercises that we did first. Some of these things and just some of the other alignment exercises, just to have a basic foundation before entering into stretches. Stretches can sometimes cause lots of tension in the hands, so my first piece of advice is before we go into these, if you feel any pain or burning, just stop. Just stop and let your hand recover. You have to be really careful. And maybe if you just went over those alignment exercises from before in the book and just become more relaxed, then these ones will be just a little bit easier to dive into. So the first basic finger independence is for just individual fingers in the left hand. And we're using fixed fingers. Lots of books do this now. Because it's such a great idea to have the full alignment of the hand on the strings and then to just work an individual finger. I do these with my students all the time, and there's usually one finger that the students have trouble with, and we'll talk about that. Let's put our second finger, third finger, and fourth finger down on the third string up in fifth position. So you can do this at any position, but let's start up in fifth position. So we're going to put our fingers down. And don't push hard with these, just align them. Make sure that your pinky finger and all the other fingers is on its tip and that each joint is curved or bent. Not this. This. If you bring your palm close to the guitar, it'll make sure that your finger is curved. And then all we're going to do is just play the outer strings. Seems easy, but you might actually have trouble aligning your fingers in a nice relaxed way. Beginner students will often have trouble keeping the fourth finger curved. The next combination is you plant down 1, 3, 4, and then we're going to be moving the second finger. If you're having a lot of trouble with these, just try moving the second finger without playing, just so there's no tension involved. You just want to learn to be independent with each finger. So most students are good at those two. The next one, we're going to plant 1, 2, and 4 down. Sometimes students have a problem with this one in that when they try to move this finger, this one flies off. So you have to be careful to make sure that all your fingers are relaxed and on the string. And then only the required finger moves back and forth. It's surprising, like beginner students can't do this at first usually. And then after a week or two, they can actually do it. You can just see like the neural pathways forming and their finger getting better at it every time they do it. The next one is plant 1, 2, 3, and we'll be moving the fourth finger. Remember, keep it curved at each joint. And most of the movement should be in the finger, not in the hand. Should just be the finger moving back and forth. So that's the preliminary exercise. Now, the next exercise is improving left hand alignment. So lots of students have a tendency to play like this, with the fourth finger kind of off the fingerboard, misaligned, whereas their teachers are always going to be telling them to play more like this. So this exercise aims to correct that. So it does the reverse. It puts the fourth finger on the lowest strings and the other fingers on the high string to create kind of an opposite shape where the fingers are slanted down this way. It's to help correct that alignment. So it goes like this. It's just one finger per fret. Fourth string, fifth string, move up a position. And then you move up a position again, etc., etc. Just make sure that your fourth finger is indeed curved at each joint. Now I have really small hands, so it's pretty, I mean, they're pretty short fingers. So it's kind of tough when I'm on like the final one, but I don't know if you can see through the camera, but there's still a little bit of curvature at each joint, so just be careful of making sure that happens. Bring your palm really up nice and close to the guitar and play on your fingertips and do your best to keep that, keep those fingers curved. So it's just like a cool correction exercise, and actually after doing it a little bit, when I go to the guitar and I think about playing a scale, it just feels more aligned, it just feels better. It feels like this finger wants to be over in this area just a little bit more. The next exercise is alignment and finger movement. This is kind of a counterpoint exercise. Taking two fingers at a time, we're just going to play the respective frets. And then slowly go to lower strings. The only thing I'll say on this one is make sure that you're holding each note for a full quarter note. So like this one stays down while this one plays, and then this one plays, stays down as the other one goes up. So there'll be two notes ringing out at all times. That's very, very important. Don't go like this. That does nothing for your hand at all. Should be like counterpoint, two voices going on. I've written it in one voice for just like a nice clean score, but in the first bar there's ties there to indicate that each note overlaps the next one, kind of like a chain link, right? This sound sustains, this one sustains over that one, and then the next one, you know, keeps going in continuous sustain. So that was 4-1. The next combo is 4-3. Again, stand your fingertips, curve those fingers. I would do each one at least 2 times, if not more, etc., etc. The other combos, I won't do every single bar because there's so many, but the next combo is 3-1. Etc. down through the strings, then 2-1, down through the strings, and repeat each string a couple of times. I'm just going through it faster right now. 2-1, then there's 3-2, right? It's hard to separate those two fingers, so I find these ones the hardest. Oops. Down through the strings, and then 4-2. Students have a hard time with this one. They just don't want to curve their pinky, so make sure this knuckle is in a little bit. And down through the strings. The next one is finger independence and sustain. I love this exercise. It's much more like counterpoint. It's definitely in 2 voices. So we're going to play a note on the 3rd string, and then we're going to play scale passages with the other fingers, but we have to keep that one finger sustaining that note. So we have to keep that finger down. So we play first finger. So you can tell, like, all these exercises utilize all all 4 fingers on a 4-fret spans, so 1 finger per fret, and then just in lots of combinations to teach them various things. And it just prepares you for the realities of playing classical guitar, which is usually like a lot of stuff going on in the left hand. The next one is sustain the 2nd finger. Any right hand fingering is fine for this. I kind of just switch it around. Then the 3rd finger sustains. You get the idea. And then the 4th finger sustains. Just remember to keep the finger curved on its fingertip. It's just a really great exercise. It really kind of is more similar to playing like Bach or just any kind of 2-voice texture, right? The next exercise is alignment, coordination, vertical stretch, chromatic counterpoint. What a title. But essentially it's just a 2-voice counterpoint texture. The bottom voice goes up, the top voice goes down. Or it goes up as well, actually. But starting in a different place. Let me play the exercise. It goes 1. So we're playing on the 3rd string and the 2nd string at first. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2. Very important in this exercise is that each one, there's 2 notes ringing out at all times and each one overlaps. So you hold the 1st finger, play the 3rd finger, keep holding though, then you play the 2nd finger, you have to keep holding the 3rd finger, and then you play the 4th finger, but you have to keep holding the 2nd finger. So again, it's like a chain link. You sustain 1 note, kind of like this, and another note starts, and you kind of have these overlapping sustains. That's the most important thing. Don't forget that. Don't play the exercise like this. That's not the exercise. The exercise is to have 2 fingers down at all times. Once you feel confident with that, you can switch to a lower string, which increases the left hand stretch. Then further down. It's pretty tough on the lowest string, I'll say. Don't go past your comfort point. If you're only comfortable with the 1st string and the 3rd string, stay there for weeks, if not months. And then when you're ready, you can go to the 4th string. And when maybe you have to stay there for a couple weeks or something, and then you can go to the 5th string, and you just slowly increase your stretch. It has to do more with relaxation than the actual stretching of the fingers. Like, if you're relaxed, you can probably reach all those. If you're not, then you can't. So don't push yourself further than you're ready for. Just like start small and then build a foundation and then slowly inch your way up. The next exercise is exactly the same as the previous one, but we're playing the notes as 2-note dyads. So together. So it's 1, 3, then 2, 4, then 3, 1, then 4, 2. This kind of stuff is required in repertoire all the time, right? Whoops. Going a little fast there. The last one is pretty tough to connect. But nevertheless, same thing as before. Stay on the 3rd string until your fingers are working really well, and then go to the 4th string and just slowly increase your stretch as you go. The next one is 2-finger coordination in slurs. This one, don't do this one if you haven't covered the slur section a lot, and that previous exercise we just did, because it's hard. It goes like this. It has a 2-finger group and we do a slur. So from open strings to hammer on to pull off. And then we switch the fingers upside down and do a pull off. So hammer on, pull off, hammer on. And then we switch the combo up, so it's 2-3 is the next, or 3-2 is the next one. It's really just to like work the 2-finger groups, right? And slurs, but it's mainly to like get 2 fingers at a time really working together. The next combo would be 3-4. It's tough. 3-1. And of course you could use different strings if you want to increase the stretch as well, but it's not necessary for now. 4-2. Doesn't sound very beautiful, but it's really good for your hands. Really good workout. 1-4. You know, just getting really unified between 2 fingers. Now, the last one is just a horizontal stretch exercise, and I do this every day. I think it's just a great thing to do, and I think it's much easier than some of the previous exercises. I put it at the back just because when I'm teaching beginners or even early intermediate, I don't push stretch a lot. I just want them to like get alignment and relaxation going, and then I build in stretch exercises just a little bit later, just so they have some foundation. And again, like if you feel any burning in the muscles, you just stop immediately. I'm going to do this at the 1st fret, or at the 5th fret, sorry. But feel free to do it at the 1st fret. If you do these exercises at the 1st fret, the stretch is going to be more intense. If you do it up here where the frets are closer together, the stretch will be easier. So we'll start at the 5th fret on the 6th string, and we're going to keep a gap between one group of the fingers. So this time it's between 1 and 2. Stretch, normal, stretch, normal. So that's between 1 and 2. 2 and 3 is a tough one for me. So you can see the stretch is between those 2 fingers. And the last one, the stretch is between 3 and 4. I find this one the easiest. And like I said, if you want to make it harder, just go to the 1st fret where the frets are further apart. It's tough between 2 and 3. 4 again I find pretty easy. I originally had a couple of exercises that in the book that stretched it even further, but I decided to delete those. If you're an advanced player, feel free to try to stretch beyond 1 extra fret. But I think for the majority of students, this book is kind of for grade 1 to 10 or grade 1 to 9 RCM. The majority of students, you really don't need to do much stretches beyond that. If you're doing that every day, I think your hands will start getting really dexterous and will be able to reach lots of things. Doing further is a little bit dangerous and not necessary. So feel free, if you're an advanced player, feel free to push yourself further, but I'm not going to include it in the book just because I don't want anyone to overdo it. And I don't think it's necessary either. But I've done those exercises before, and advanced players can push themselves as they see fit. Okay, and then next we're going to be moving into 3rds, 6th, octaves, and 10ths, which are great stretch and finger independence exercises on their own.